All right, hey Rams. Today's standard is to write one variable, two-step equations, and inequalities to represent constraints or conditions within problems. Basically, we read a word problem, we write the equation that goes with it, okay? All right, so what you were taught in 6th grade is to think about the operation that would be used to solve a problem and then use the opposite to write your equation. So here's your example. The total distance that you drive to school is at least 7.4 miles. That's a very important key word there. At least means greater than or equal to, okay? If you've already driven 2.1 miles, what is X, the number of miles you have left? All right, so what happens here is that in our mind, we read this and say, oh, well, that is a subtraction problem, right? I've already driven a certain amount. I've got to get to this total, and I would subtract to solve it. Yes, but the equation that you're looking for, or the inequality, would be the opposite of that because you use the inverse to solve it. So you would actually be having an addition problem here that you're looking for, okay? So it would be 2.1 plus x is greater than or equal to 7.4. So the opposite, so you would get to actually solve it with subtraction, just like you think of in your mind, okay? Now, here are your answer choices. You would go through and solve those and tell me what you think is the right answer. That was your one-step equation. That was last week's work combined with the writing the equations from today, okay? All right, so to get into today's work here, we're going to practice writing these equations and then you're going to solve them yourself, okay? All right, first one here. A plumber charges $55 for a service call plus $35 per hour. If the plumber's bill was $160, how many hours was he there? Now, the way these work, a lot of businesses, when they do a delivery or something, they have a one-time fee that's $55 up front, or a fee up front. It's not always $55, okay? But then there is a certain amount for each hour that they're there working. On this one, it's $35 per hour for every hour. So if you're there 7 hours, you're going to pay that $35 for each of those 7 hours and then add that $55 on it. But the $55 is not for each hour, okay? Now this one says was 160, so that means it is an equation, not an inequality here, okay? All right, so is that the one you wrote? All right, now solve it. All right, so I'm going to walk through this. We subtract 55 from each side here. First thing we do is get rid of the addition and subtraction, right? So we're left with 35h equals 105, okay? And this 35 is multiplied by h. So what is the opposite of multiplying by 35? Dividing by 35. We do that to both sides. I'm left with h equals 3. That means the plumber was there for 3 hours. Now, to check that, you would just substitute that 3 back in there for h and see if you get the same thing. Okay, the Nile River is 6,690 kilometers long. This is 1,160 kilometers longer than the Yangtze River. How long is the Yangtze River? All right, so in this problem, we want to know if we have the Nile that is 6,690 kilometers, and it is longer than the other one. The other one is shorter, right? This Yangtze River is shorter. How long? So in our mind, we think that we would use subtraction, right? Well, yes, we would subtract to solve it, but that means we write the equation using the opposite, which would be an addition problem, okay? We would say 1,160 plus what length, I'm going to say y, equals 6,690. Because when you solve it, you would do the inverse operation, which is subtraction. Okay, so how did you solve it? Did you do this? All right, so we're going to subtract 1,160, 160, y equals 5,530 kilometers. That's how long this river is. All right. I'm going to let you try this next one here. All right. So a waiter earns $128 for 6 hours of work. The total included $86 in tip. How much does the waiter earn each year? Each hour, sorry, hour here. So, all right, so the $86, that's not split up by hour. That's just $86 total, okay? So it's 6 hours of work plus that $86 equals 128. Okay, if we subtract our 86, we're going to be left with $42 for those 6 hours of work. Okay, so when we divide by 6, that means the hourly pay for that waiter is $7 an hour. And then they included those tips, okay? All right, try this one here. 3 sisters, each purchased a dress of equal value. One of the sisters purchased a purse for $26, and the grand total was $249.50. How much did each dress cost? All right, so there are 3 of them, right? So there are 3 of these dresses plus 1 purse. So I'm going to say 3 dresses plus that purse that was $26 equals $249.50. Well, let's get rid of the 26 because that's going to leave us with only the amount that was paid for the 3 dresses, okay? So 3 dresses have a total of $123.50. So now we just need to divide that by 3. Did I have that subtraction right? Oh, $223. Okay. Three times 7 is 21. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 5 is 15. Okay, so $74.50 for each dress. Is that what you got? Hope so. All right, we're going to run out a little bit of time here. I'm going to give you a second to work those out here. And then see, Emma's sister is 9 years older than Emma. Their ages add up to 49. So if I think about this one, I could say Emma plus Emma's sister. So you could say Emma plus 9, right, equals 49. Now, we could combine those like terms, and we could say 2e plus 9 equals 49. Does that make sense? So what could we do there? How could I figure that out? I want you to solve it and see if you got it right. Okay. Next one. A warehouse holds, now this one we are moving on to inequalities now. So they're a little bit harder, okay? A warehouse holds 460 boxes. They ship out 65 boxes each week. After how many weeks will they have less than 100 boxes remaining? We're going to write and solve the inequality. All right, so we're looking for that less than. So we know it's an inequality now. Okay, so that warehouse holds 460. And they're going to ship out 65 each week. So when we ship them, we're going to subtract out a certain number. Well, it's 65 times the number of weeks. It doesn't tell me the variable to use, so I'm going to say W. Oh, and a less than, not less than or equal to, just less than 100. Okay, so we start with 460. We're going to subtract 65 for each week and end up with less than 100. So that's what our inequality looks like. So go ahead and solve that now. Megan is saving up to buy a new cell phone that costs $220. So far, she has saved $175. She would like to buy the cell phone in 4 weeks. So write and solve the inequality to represent at least how much she must save every week to purchase it. All right, so the whole phone is $220, right? But she's already got $175 saved. Okay, but she's going to do this in 4 weeks. So So you start with our 175 and you add 4 times whatever amount, let's say P for phone, whatever amount that she needs to be able to get to her $220, okay? So we're looking for the at least, how much she must save each week. So she can save greater than or equal to that amount, okay? At least is the same thing as greater than or equal to. So if you want to make that little note for you, that's a very important keyword there. So start with her 175. You're adding 4 weeks with a certain amount each week, and you're going to get a total of at least $220. Okay, now solve that one. A 15-passenger van is rented for a family vacation. The van rental is $60 a day plus $145 insurance fee. That's a one-time fee, okay? How many days can the van be rented if they want to spend no more than $625? Write and solve the inequality. So what inequality do you think it is? All right, so we're going to start with, we know that we have that one-time fee of $145. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on there. $145 plus $60 per day. So 60 per day. So D would be the number of days, and they want to spend no more than. That means up to that amount. Okay, another way of saying that mathematically would be less than or equal to $625. Oops, that's not a 6 at all. All right, so 145 plus $60 per day would be less than or equal to 625. Now, in your mind, you could have written it also 60 times days plus 145 is less than or equal to 625. They're both the same thing. All right, now solve it. Marco is limited to 7 hours of screen time each week. He decides to watch a movie that is 1 hour and 20 minutes on Sunday. If he divides the remainder of the time equally among the other 6 days, how many minutes can he watch each day? Well, we don't want to deal with hours and minutes, right? So let's change everything to minutes here. So if there are 60 minutes per hour, let's do 7 times 60, and we're going to get 420 minutes total. That's what he can watch each week, okay? Now, he already watched a movie that's 1 hour and 20 minutes. That's 80 minutes, okay? So 80 minutes plus, we have 6 more days he can watch movies, but how many minutes can he watch movies each day to be less than or equal to 420 minutes total? Okay, he's limited to it, so it means he could watch 7 hours or he could watch less, but he cannot go over. Okay, we started with 80 and we have 6 days left to divide up those other remaining minutes. Okay, all right, now solve this one. All right, that was your last problem, Rams. So hopefully you understood this, and that when you solve the problems that you had them right in there. If not, come to your teacher's Zoom time. They can help you through it, okay? Have a great day.